Welcome to the channel. Today I want to discuss with you my way of fixing plates and presses onto the bench. Lee produce a commercial product which they call the Lee bench plate, which I really don't rate, and I think it's an expensive item that can be improvised cheaper and better, and if you do it yourself you'll have greater benefits. And I want to show you why. The basic system that I'm running is I have drilled a number of holes using a template that I made. Now this here, I will give you the numbers. The holes are about 19 centimeters apart on the lengthway, and on the side they are about 16. You could see where they can elongate that. My plates are about 23 centimeters by 20. Now that's just something that I made because, you know, I think it's a good size. Roughly everything fits on that. I struggle a little bit with my bench grinder, but generally it's been all right. I have even used in the past a Dillon with it, but this doesn't fit the strong mount. So if that's a thing for you, you know, maybe get a larger plate. Okay. Now once we've done that, once we've drilled our holes in all our plates, I've got about, I don't know, probably 20 of these guys. This is just some marine ply, and it's about, I don't know, maybe 18 millimeters deep. We then replicate that pattern into the bench, and we're going to put these screw threads in. These are just about, these are 15 mil, and they have an M8 thread on the inside. You can get them off eBay, you can get them just about anywhere. An alternative to that would be the traditional T-nut, which again has an M8 thread, and it's got these prongs, and you just shove it in the hole and pull it tight, and I've used these in the past as well. I kind of prefer these at the moment. You put them in using a hex key in the rear, and you kind of twist them in. So we twist one of those in each of our 4 holes, and at that stage we end up with a really nice little pleasant situation, because we can then take a bolt. I have put a washer on it, which I've welded in place. I have tried in the past using epoxy, but a limited success. They always come loose sooner or later. You could try JB Weld. You could try soldering. I don't know, there are possibilities. You could just buy a custom job that, you know, has a large ring. These have a hex fitting, so I can use my impact driver. See that? Doesn't that fit lovely? And at that stage we can basically mount a tool in this bench. Now I should say that I have a position for one of my bench plates here, over there on that bench I have 2, and I have a couple over there. So I can mount presses, I can mount vices, shot shell reloaders, powder measures, cut-off saws, everywhere in my shed. And that's a lovely way to go. So we can take this one here, for example, take this press and put it here. And we'll just take our impact driver, and Bob's your uncle. And that is rock solid. And if we want to get rid of it, we get rid of it. And of course, you see I'm not sitting here with a screwdriver like on the Lee bench plate. Here you go, that's me. In and out in a second. And absolutely no fuss. So out that comes. I will very quickly show you how I mounted the bench to this base plate. And I did that using T-nuts, which I have recessed slightly. That way they don't scratch across the bench. I have in the past used plates which I hadn't recessed, and I retired them pretty quickly because they just scratch up your bench. And I know it's a workbench, but still, you know, you don't have to go out of your way to ruin it. The other thing I have done in the past is I have used the same threaded nuts, and I have drilled them out to basically provide an area of reinforcement. So I've screwed that nut in there and then drilled it out, and that way this is reinforced. I've kind of given up on that because this base plate has been in use for about 2 years, and you can see that really the area is still just about okay. If anything, it might be easier to soak that area in super glue or something like that. Now, as to the strength of the system, I have a vise here Now this particular vise I have reinforced with M10 T-nuts. And we can position that and screw it down. And put a nice bit of metal in. Give that a pull. Is there movement? Yes. Is it holding? Yes. And sideways. Same deal. The great advantage with this system is that other than buying a few fittings, there's really nothing else to it. You have to be able to measure out your area and you have to be able to hold a drill straight. But after that, you can replicate these guys as often as you want. I've got another 4 on standby. Finally, and I think this is the real clincher, when I'm done with my presses, I can put a book down. I can put a welder here, I can put something. There's nothing in the way. You have a clean bench. Yes, there are holes in it, but that really isn't a bother. And if push comes to shove, you can grab yourself a bit of wood filler, fill the holes in, sand them back, and you know, they've never been there. You really don't disturb the fabric of the bench. If we go back to the Lee bench plate, for example, you'd undo that, you have nuts and washers falling on the ground. It's just a pain. There are easier ways and better ways to work. So that is basically it. That's my advice to you. You don't have to heat it, but all these plates together, I got about 20, cost me, I don't know, about 40 quid at the time. And you can just paint them with some varnish or what have you not to make them last a little longer, but it's not really necessary. And it's just a quick and solid way to work. Now, if you only have one press, there's an argument for just screwing it onto the bench, but my advice would be not to. Start off with the plate straight away, because before you know it, you'll need a powder measure and that has to go somewhere. And then, I don't know, something to shorten the cases and that has to go somewhere. Or you need a vise and that has to go somewhere. And when it's mobile, you still have a large area. For example, when you need to cut cloth or something, where you can lay something out and it doesn't interfere. So that's my advice to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I got the intellectual juices flowing. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.